Over 460 Ghanaian students leave Ukraine to neighboring countries, expected in Ghana soon. Government to meet relatives of Ghanaian nationals in Ukraine on Tuesday, March 1. 5-year program to empower 5,000 marginalized young women with vocational skills. And EU to ban all Russian aircraft from its airspace. This is News Hour, coming to you live on GBC News and GTV. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to the news. I am Seyokwo Kwakuchre. As at midday today, Sunday, February 27, 2022, a total number of 460 Ghanaian students have left Ukraine en route to Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. At a media briefing in Accra, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Ms. Shirley Ayokobochi, said diplomatic missions and honorary consuls in the respective countries have been directed to facilitate the safe arrival of the students, while efforts are to prepare tickets for all 460 students to come back to Ghana.
We are pleased to provide the breakdown of those who have exited Ukraine as follows. 132 have arrived in Bucharest, Romania, and our officer on the ground is preparing tickets for some of them to leave tomorrow to Accra. Some are being processed at the holding area, and I'm told about 60 of them are going through border formality. 38, having crossed into Poland, are with our officials. 25, just this morning, arrived in Hungary and are being sheltered at the Pentecostal Church in Budapest. 85 of our compatriots are being assisted by our embassy in Moscow to cross the border town of Sumy into Russia.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Ms. Shirley Ayokoboche, says there are 3 cities in Ukraine where Ghanaian students cannot be evacuated from due to the high-risk situation identified there. Briefing the media on the security situation in Ukraine and the safety of Ghanaian nationals, the minister said in the face of the challenge, the government has requested Ghana's diplomatic mission in Moscow to assist with the passage of the affected students to neighboring countries.
Information received indicates that there are still 3 cities in Ukraine where students cannot be evacuated from due to the high-risk situation identified there, as reported by our honorary consul. These cities are Kharkov, Sumy, also hotspots on the way, and Dnipropetrovsk, which is experiencing a complete lockdown. Another challenge which our compatriots are faced with is the fear of crossing at borders close to Russia for obvious reasons. We had requested a diplomatic mission in Moscow to assist with their passage, as it will be unreasonable and dangerous to now start looking for another border to access. Unfortunately, there are reports of incursions at the border called Sumy, which has posed a challenge for about 85 of our compatriots who sought to exit that side of Ukraine into Russia. I'm not saying that they have been attacked or anything. It's just that the situation there makes it quite difficult for them to cross.
Officially, there are about 1,000 Ghanaian students in Ukraine, out of which 27 are on government scholarship, while the rest are predominantly self-sponsored. At a media briefing in Accra, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Ms. Shirley Ayokoboche, said although most of the students went to Ukraine on their own, the government will ensure the safe evacuation of students to Ghana.
Ghanaian students, like all foreigners, including our compatriots in Ukraine, have therefore found themselves in a very precarious situation. Let me state categorically that although most of the students went there on their own, government has a responsibility to all of them to ensure their safety, and that we will do.
A Ghanaian student in Ukraine, Mr. Joseph Yangson, shared with GBC News their struggle while traveling to neighboring countries such as Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Poland to cross the respective borders.
Myself and my executives here, we've had several meetings as to how we can be evacuated, and then it's almost fruitless because if you are leaving the city, you'll be asked to return. As at now, in Sulu, it's quite difficult. All other nationals are also stuck here. Other cities, students are able to move from one place to another, and then they're able to get to the border. My city is just 50 miles. You can imagine, 50 miles away from Russia. The Russian troops use this city a lot. Even though my city has not been totally captured, there's still fights ongoing every single day. Every single day, there's fight going. Every single day, we hear very loud blasts. Our transport systems have been cut off. Buses do not work, trains do not work. Even yesterday, we were given an information that we should go to the train station at 3 p.m. and then meet the train. Well, I declined to go, even though I wanted to go. My friend told me I shouldn't trust that information, so I didn't go. Around 3 p.m., those who were there didn't get the train. And we had a very loud blast. I'm not even exaggerating this. I'm not exaggerating this anyway. I won't try to make anybody scared.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has invited all parents, guardians or relatives of Ghanaian nationals in Ukraine to a meeting at the Accra International Conference Center on Tuesday, March 1, 2022, with regards to the government's plans to secure the well-being of Ghanaians in conflict-stricken Ukraine. The World University Service of Canada has initiated a project to reach and empower 5,000 urban but marginalized young women in Accra, Kumasi and Sekondi Takoradi with vocational skills. The Invest in Her campaign will run for 5 years with funding from the Global Affairs of Canada, reports by Sarah Ofori.
Meet 28-year-old Elizabeth Ahiagba, an electrical and solar installer, and her colleague Mavis Odum. They are both beneficiaries of the World University Service of Canada's Innovation in Non-Traditional Vocational Education and Skills Training for Women program. Although Elizabeth, Mavis and a few others are off the unemployed list, unemployment rate is still said to be high among Ghana's youthful population, yet there is an unmet need for skilled labor.
So the Invest project is a 5-year project that's looking at creating sustainable pathways for young women to enter into male-dominated spaces. And so we look at both the supply and demand side actors. So what that means is ensuring that training providers and the provision of training is of quality, but also is gender responsive, that the classroom environment is comfortable for a young woman, that it's safe, but then when she goes into industry, she also feels supported to thrive, to be promoted, to excel in these spaces. And
using the inclusive market system approach, the World University Service of Canada hopes to train 5,000 urban poor young women with employable skills with access to decent work by 2025. It will collaborate with the Commission of Technical and Vocational Education and Training, among other partners, to deliver market-relevant and gender-sensitive training for the women.
For most advanced countries that we go to, you see that heavy-duty trucks are driven by women, not men. So why is that when it comes to our side of the world, we are disadvantaging them? We put them in obscure corner and think that they are not capable. Some women can be as strong as men, so it's about making it attractive to all. Let's take, for instance, IT. IT, you don't need to be lifting anything. Let's take electrical installation. You don't have to lift anything. I think The focus is that we haven't helped our women.
The World University Service of Canada has deployed initiatives which include radio drama series, television promos, community outreaches, and stakeholder engagements to encourage women to pursue male-dominated trades in the country. Sarah Fori, GBC News, Accra.
The Atomic Hills Presbyterian Church of Ghana has been elevated from a sub-district to a full district church. A formal ceremony took place in Accra, at which Christians were reminded to put Christ first and at the center of all things within and outside the church.
The Atomic Hills Presbyterian Church of Ghana, now the Praise Congregation, started on the 18th of June 1995 with a membership of about 35 in a classroom at the Atomic Hills Demonstration School. Today, membership stands at about 1,700. It now has 7 congregations and has been elevated from a sub-district to a new district. The ceremony was also to induct into office a new district minister for the district. The officiating minister of the church, Reverend Dr. Nano Parikwachi, said all must support the building of the church and the nation.
When we look at what is happening around us, we can say that the glory of God is with us. His blessing is upon our nation. But the problem for a lot of us is that we are asleep. We have not woken up. And it is time to wake up. Waking up from the slumberous life that we live in. Waking up from the things that detract us and move us away from God. And when we move away from these things and we focus on God and we walk with God, then we'll begin to see the glory of God in our lives as a nation, as a church, and as a people.
The newly inducted minister, Reverend Ebenezer K.A. Decker, says the church must strengthen its propagation of the word.
Our priority has to do with evangelism. We have to intensify evangelism to make sure that the catchment area, we let lots and lots of people receive Jesus Christ as their Lord and their Savior.
The sword was cut for a new church office and a plaque unveiled.
The La Central Assembly of the Apostolic Church of Ghana is celebrating its 75th anniversary. A ceremony to launch the program in Accra was also to announce activities lined up for the anniversary.
Due to selflessness, dedication and contributions of the local district for the past 75 years, the La Central Congregation Assembly of the Apostolic Church Ghana, established in February 1948, currently has a membership of over 300. According to the head pastor, Mr. Emmanuel Chate Tete, the church has chalked up successes over the years, but not without challenges. A member of the planning committee, Mr. Edwin Tay, gave an overview of activities lined up for the 75th anniversary celebrations, which will be climaxed in February 2023.
This year is actually an evangelism and soul winning year of the Apostolic Church Ghana and elsewhere in the world. So as part of these celebrations, there will be evangelism work to win more souls for Christ. We are also going to organize crusades at various vantage locations so that our perishing will be won for the kingdom of God. We have other programs like awards for people who have actually sacrificed for the birth of this church and have toiled to ensure that the church has lived for the number of years that we have been seeing now.
The celebration is under the theme celebrating 75 years of God's faithfulness.
You're watching News Hour live on GBC News and GTV. We're taking a short break. Please stay with us.
Remember to add your digital address.
Dial *404# on your phone to start registering your SIM card today.
For more information, contact your service provider on 100 or the National Communications Authority on toll-free number 0800 110622. Register your SIM card to stay connected.
Hey, tell me more. Tell me more. Hey, tell me more. Tell me beer.
They ma worry me. Watch me, you come 1 week, Mr. Community. Oh, now,
yes. Buga, nade. Senior, name me and you ma cut down my business is a collapse. My house are bounced.
So, take quick credit, Inga.
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who pesika? Eddie Astati, you may be. Who here be seen Eddie Atru, Judim. We are government and a private worker. Who pesika de ati hot so. We are Busumi Juma. Who here Sikadia Bibin Tempe so. Quick credit, we ma loan. And what you are in Kakra. Now, and let just some Cassian say. A collateral free loaner, Susu, savings, account opening, and a depositor, same BL. Here and say, Wagana card.